everybody. Welcome to the show. I wanted to talk about a few things today. And those who are not familiar with what I do, currently I have a YouTube channel, so a lot of these recordings will be posted on my YouTube account. I do have two YouTube channels, and it looks like I will be doing a merge. So if you're interested, I'll be listing both of my YouTube channels under the description. With that being said, I'm definitely looking forward to talking about today's subject. I won't spend too much time on it, but I will be talking about it. With that being said, I want to get into the whole thing of working through this reality, working through this dense reality, looking at things from a spiritual perspective and physical perspective. But making a long story short, when I'm talking with other people and, supporting them or helping them to try to navigate life, I sometimes tell them you have to remember what this reality is, how this reality works, and that in this reality, we are working with a lot of dense energies, dense vibrations, and how these energies play out in our lives, definitely in some way or shape or form, can demonstrate how far in advance we are in our own soul workings. Now, this is not the case for everybody or all things, but when it comes to working with this reality, you really have to really look into how things are being run and being done. From my experience, from what I have been noticing, is that much of this reality is maintained through suppression, repression of energy, of the mind, of thoughts, of feelings. Some people may call these blockages. I come to also discover in my own journeys that some blocks may be intentionally placed in a person's life, and that could be done several or many ways. So that's why I tell people, when it comes to working with this reality, the first person you need to get to know is yourself. You need to figure out who you are. And once you know who you are, it can be a bit difficult for these dense energies to maneuver, navigate, or manipulate you. Because when something happens, you will know. You'll know something's up. You know something's not right. You'll know that what you're feeling, what you see, what you perceive is not really you. It's kind of like you disconnected your spiritual circuits from this reality and hooked it up or aligned yourself with your own reality, with your own mind, with your own spirit. And this could take some time, and for a lot of people, it usually takes a breaking point. It's usually something destructive usually has to happen, not all the time, but human beings tend to be naturally stubborn. So with all that being said and done, I definitely want to take a look at how some dense energies place blocks in our lives. When it comes to this reality and working with these energies, one of the first things you have to deal with in being free and working through this reality, once again, is knowing yourself, but actually asking yourself, what do I want out of life? What do I really crave out of life? You have to think about it. When we are born into this world, we are born, how can I say it? A lot of us are told that this world is a certain way. You got to go out, you got to get a job, you got to do this and do that so you can survive. And I'm not saying that that is not true. There are a lot of facts to this. I mean, if you want to sustain yourself and care for yourself and care for your family and children, or even pursue a hobby, you need to actually get out there and make money. But what I'm saying is that it gets to a point where it could be consuming, and this whole consuming ourselves with this idea can be a bit blocking to who we are on a spiritual level. So all I'm saying is that be careful about that. I found myself run on this train, and I had a complete breakdown, you can say, a complete snap from reality. And once that reality snapped, things completely shifted and changed for me. And I mean, once you get to that point, you can feel a little bit lost at times, but it's a new start, it's a new beginning, and you have to learn how to recreate yourself, create your own destiny. And that's something that a lot of people don't really want to do because it's uncomfortable. it's very easy to go along with what this reality has set for you. So with all that being said, that's just one example. Another thing I like to talk about is this. A lot of times there is this. Before I move on, a lot of times there is this. Put this obsession. That's the word. Obsession with the things that we deal with in life. Obsessions with finding love, having that career, having that job. Obsessions. They in a way can become distractions. And when we are talking about distractions, that's another thing how the dense reality plays out. I would definitely say this, and this comes from personal experience, that once I ended up aligning myself with my higher mind or my soul or spirit, whatever you want to call it, or your body, I found that the dense realities, the dense energies that play out seek to distract me in other various ways. So when they couldn't get me through money, opportunity, if that makes sense, they'll try other destructive, manipulative ways. I also discovered that dense energies knew how to manipulate energy, memories, the past, thoughts on a cellular and energetic level. And once again, I say you got to know who you are. You got to know yourself, because if you don't know yourself, you'd be pretty much shit out of luck. So the first step to maneuvering around this reality is, again, knowing who you are. And sometimes that may require for us to completely disconnect from this reality. I do believe that with this whole pandemic and everything happening with the virus, that a lot of people's realities has been snapped or broken. Not everybody. Some people will be looking forward to realign themselves with the system, which is nothing wrong. That might be just their sole mission or journey. But for some of us, we're at a place in our life where we realize where we've been going, and where it's leading us, and we want to start different, we want to start new. And that is the opportunity that this whole pandemic has shown to a lot of us. I also mentioned, I remember I posted on my Facebook that I said this pandemic also shows us how much free will we have, which isn't really much. I know it's kind of dark, but I mean, if you really think about it, and this is me also looking at how I work with dense energies, how they intentionally try to sabotage my own heart chakra, and I had to work with different stones and crystals, and most times self-therapeutic work. So sometimes you got to use a combination of many, many, many things. Sometimes even taking on a specific or certain diet. So for me, I'm currently vegan, and that has helped me tremendously to dissolve a lot of inner dense energies, also laying off of the sugar and possibly the salt. With that being said, these are ways you can navigate and learn how to get around dense energies that try to sabotage you. You may find along your path that as you are moving up and moving into doing more of your soul path or your soul mission, whatever you want to call it, that the fight gets more intense. And that you really have to work yourself on a subconscious level. You have to, in a way, learn how to befriend your shadow, befriend your subconscious, befriend your conscious mind, because the war is being waged not only in your conscious reality, but on the subconscious shadow level. And most people are not aware of that level. A lot of people don't even know, that feelings can come to the surface. You believe it's you, and it's not really you that's thinking and feeling that type of way. Is a distraction, and it's to prevent your soul from maneuvering or creating in this reality. In a way, when you're stepping into yourself, you're stepping into the whole notion that you have a right to create in this world. A lot of energies don't want you to realize that. They don't want you to discover that truth. But this world doesn't just belong to them. It belongs also to you and everybody else. We are co-creators, co-creating in our own life and in this world. And in a sense, we do have a sense of responsibility. Now, that's a different story, responsibility. Once we discover what responsibility is and what it is, or what it means to have responsibility in our life, then our approach and how we feel towards others will shift too. You begin to understand that in some way we are our brothers and sisters keepers, that we do have a responsibility towards one another. The issue I find in today's time that a lot of people don't have that sense of responsibility, and that a lot of people just look out for themselves, which ain't nothing wrong with that. But there are consequences for everything. It don't matter what it is, if it's good, bad, whatever. But with all that being said, I believe when moving forward, you need to move forward with good judgment. But to do that, you need to know better. To know better is to really know who you are, so you can do better. With that, when working with dense energies, some things I had to work with was actually my finances. I found my finances getting targeted, which is very interesting. So I had to learn how to, I didn't have to learn it. I'm very good at it, but I had to reinforce, you can say, reinforce having a healthy financial budget and a plan, where I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, not just randomly going out and spending, because some energies wanted me to spend money. So I could just have enough to do certain things, but not the other things. And I tell people, when you are trying to work on align with your soul mission, your soul journey, and you're creating and co-creating and doing whatever, you need funds. You need money to get by. You need to be able to take care of yourself. You need money to create, to go to the store. And sometimes you will be able to get things off the street. A lot of times I found a lot of things that I needed in people's trash. I don't go looking through people's trash, but I needed something. And I'd be like, dang, I needed that. Thank you, universe. It's that sort of thing. But when it comes to working with dense energies, all I'm going at is that you have to learn how to move forward. This whole thing of me talking to you about dense energies is all about knowing how to navigate, knowing how to move forward, so that we can persevere, take care of ourselves, we can co-create, and we can get through this life in joy and love, and what some people like to call peace of mind. Another thing you end up having to work through in regards to this reality, and this is just a short little a little brief conversation or discussion about this energy. This is not the totality of a lot, but I'm just touching on a few points. Some of the things you may have to work with is duality within the mind. Learning how to work with and work through your own duality. I found that, and this is what I discovered, and now we'll talk about this later, that we all have a sense of duality in our lives and our minds, and our experiences and how we experience life is experienced through these dualities. But not just that, I'm learning now that even though duality exists, that we get to a point where we want to expand upon duality. And this expansion of duality is expansion of really getting to know our shadow and our subconscious mind, being able to embrace what it is to be human, to embrace our feelings that come with these experiences and not blocking them, and allowing ourselves to experience them fully, so we can expand our duality, so we can expand our energetic body and our minds. But those are just some of the things to talk about later. I know it's, lately what has been going on in my life, I have been navigating, I have been aware of the dense energies performing. I call it performing, like they're putting on a show, a performance in my life. And, as an intuitive, I have seen the frustration that they had with me, and there has been frustrations in my life where there have been blocks put up that started in the root chakra and that were intentionally meant to shut my heart chakra down, so I couldn't connect with my higher mind. And guess what? When self-therapy didn't work, and when I couldn't, and eating certain foods didn't work, I found that working with stones and crystals work, or going out and doing some other things. I tell people learning how to be creative is key, because you just can't stick to one thing. You just can't stick to one doing of trying to get through something. You have to embrace and cultivate and find ways to extend yourself to many things so that you can free yourself. This is an ongoing thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the whole point of this reality, is to learn how to maneuver through these dense energies, because they're all around you. And then when they come, you just know and have the trust and faith that you can work through these things. With that being said, if y'all enjoy this content, definitely keep listening in. But other than that, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and see you next time.